Hello and welcome to another Fantasy Football Tournament Series number 75. This is the Landlocked Nations Cup. Countries from around the world that are insulated, that do not border any major body of water, that are surrounded on all sides by other countries. Some of these nations may have rivers flowing through them, but they are landlocked in that they're not bordering any sea or ocean or anything like that. And we have 16 teams here. You hear a buzzing noise, that's my AC unit. 16 nations, 4 groups of 4. The host nation I've gone with is the largest landlocked nation in the entire world and the 9th largest country in the world overall, Kazakhstan. Greatest country in the world. And we have representatives from 4 different confederations. CONCACAF, as we know, no landlocked countries in that region, as well as Oceania. I mean, my goodness, Oceania, it's in the name. So we have representatives here from UEFA, Asia, Africa, and South America. Just one host nation being Kazakhstan. Top 2 teams go through. You know the whole deal. So let's go through the groups here. In Group A, we have the host nation Kazakhstan, Lesotho, Czech Republic, Luxembourg. In Group B, we have Paraguay, Macedonia, Burundi, and Nepal. Group C, we have Switzerland, Central African Republic, Uzbekistan, and Belarus. And in Group D, we have Hungary, Bolivia, San Marino. They've found a way into this tournament, and Burkina Faso. So let's get through the groups, shall we? So the opener between Kazakhstan and Luxembourg. Again, some of my flags are bigger than others. I don't make all these flags at the same time, as these tournaments are conceived. If I don't have flags for certain competitions, I make them. I've been making flags for about 2 years now. So some of these are 2 years old, some of these are new. You can tell by the paper that I use, the size, etc. Opening match is Kazakhstan versus Lesotho. I'm going with a 2-1 victory for the host nation, Kazakhstan. And between the Czech Republic and Luxembourg, I'm going with a 0-0 draw. Luxembourg, very much so a team that has been on the up in the last couple of years, really. Then we have Kazakhstan versus the Czech Republic. I think the Czech Republic will win this match 1-0. Luxembourg versus Lesotho, a 2-0 victory for Luxembourg. Finally, we have Lesotho versus the Czech Republic, and Luxembourg versus Kazakhstan. I'm going with a 4-0 victory for the Czech Republic, and between Luxembourg and Kazakhstan, I'm going with a 1-1 draw. Luxembourg will go undefeated in this group. Czech Republic will finish on top on 7 points. Luxembourg in second on 5 points. Host nation, Kazakhstan eliminated, unfortunately for them, but with a great showing, 4 points. And Lesotho in last. Is the flag upside down? I didn't know it was upside down this whole time. Wow. On 0 points. So Kazakhstan and Lesotho are eliminated. But remember, because Kazakhstan's the host nation, every single one of these games is held in Kazakhstan. Only one host. Moving on to Group B, we have Paraguay versus Macedonia and Burundi versus Nepal. Very distinctive flag, Nepal. So Paraguay versus Macedonia, I'm going to go with a hard-fought 1-0 victory for Paraguay. Burundi versus Nepal, I will go with a 5-0 victory for Burundi. Then we have Paraguay versus Burundi and Nepal versus Macedonia. For Paraguay, I'm going with a 3-1 victory over Burundi. And for Nepal versus Macedonia, I'm going with a 7-0 victory for Macedonia. And then let's see, what else do we have? We have Macedonia versus Burundi. and Nepal versus Paraguay. Macedonia will defeat Burundi by a scoreline of 4-2. I think that'll be a high-scoring game. 4-2 for Macedonia. And Paraguay will rest players in the final game against Nepal, and they'll win the match 5-0. Which sounds like not very much. It sounds like a lot, but it's much less than what Paraguay could put past Nepal. So Paraguay wins the group on 9 points. Macedonia is in second on 6 points. Burundi's in third, 3 points. Nepal's in last with 0. The group ends the same way that it was drawn in. Paraguay and Macedonia go through. So now we have the next group. We have Switzerland versus the Central African Republic. Uzbekistan versus Belarus. I'm going with a 6-0 victory for Switzerland. They'll hit the ground running and with an emphatic victory. Uzbekistan versus Belarus. Tricky game. I'm going with a 2-2 draw, which could be the best game of the tournament. The White Wolves of Uzbekistan. Switzerland versus Uzbekistan. And Belarus versus Central African Republic. I am going to go Switzerland versus Uzbekistan. I'm going to say this will be a 0-0. Switzerland should win this game. But I do think Uzbekistan have the grit to pull one out here. They had a very impressive Asian Cup. They lost on penalties ultimately after a 0-0 draw to Australia, the defending Asian champions, and they gave Japan a run for their money in their group stage game. Eventual finalists, Japan. I'm going to go with a 0-0 here. Since Switzerland sometimes has a tendency to play to the level of their opponent. Belarus versus the Central African Republic. A 3-1 victory for Belarus. And then we have Central African Republic versus Uzbekistan, and Belarus versus Switzerland. I will go for a 2-0 victory for Uzbekistan over Central African Republic, and another 2-0 victory for Switzerland over Belarus. So Switzerland wins the group on 7 points, Uzbekistan at 5 points, Belarus on 4 points, Central African Republic in the cellar with 0. Belarus and Central African Republic are out. Switzerland and Uzbekistan go through. In the final group, we have Hungary versus Bolivia. And San Marino, welcome to the party, versus Burkina Faso. Hungary versus Bolivia. I am going to go with a draw here. Yes, a draw. A 1-1 draw, actually. And between San Marino and Burkina Faso, good night, San Marino. I'm going to go with I'll say just a 4-0 victory for Burkina Faso. But I say good night because San Marino is not going to come through this group. They're not going to come through this group, San Marino. Let's be real. Hungary versus San Marino. I'm going with a 5-0 win for Hungary over San Marino. Burkina Faso versus Bolivia. Even though Burkina Faso didn't qualify for the most recent AFCON, I think that speaks more to that speaks more to the depth of African football more than anything else. Because you also had other decent sides like Zambia who didn't reach the last AFCON. So I think Burkina Faso, the Stallions, will beat Bolivia here. I'll say that they win 2-1 over Bolivia. Arguably the worst team from CONMEBOL. Then we have Bolivia versus San Marino. And Burkina Faso versus Hungary. I'm going to go with a 4-0 victory for Bolivia. And Burkina Faso versus Hungary. I'm going to go with a victory for Hungary here. I think they'll edge out 1-0. Hungary, not a very strong side themselves. Not really. Though they did beat Croatia a couple of months ago in Euro 2020 qualifying. But still. Hungary wins the group on 7 points. Burkina Faso in second on 6 points. Bolivia on 4 points, 7-6-4, and 0 for San Marino. Bolivia and San Marino are out. Hungary and Burkina Faso go through. So let's move on to the quarterfinals. The quarterfinals, the Landlocked Nations Cup, is the Czech Republic versus Macedonia. Interesting game. Then we have Switzerland versus Burkina Faso. We have Paraguay versus Luxembourg. Not so straightforward of a game, in my opinion. And we have Hungary, the winners of Group D, versus Uzbekistan. So these are the quarterfinals. Czech Republic versus Macedonia. I will go with an uninspiring 1-0 victory for Czech Republic. Or you know what? A 2-1 victory for the Czech Republic over Macedonia. Switzerland versus Burkina Faso. A 3-1 victory for Switzerland. Paraguay versus Luxembourg. A 2-1 victory for Paraguay. Another very close game. I think Luxembourg have some quality and could be in with a shout for playing spoiler in Euro 2020 qualifiers if they don't make it themselves. Hungary versus Uzbekistan. This is where I'll pick my first, not really upset. I wouldn't consider an upset, but I think this will go to 0-0 draw. No, a 1-1 draw. Penalties, and Uzbekistan emerge victorious. 4-2 on penalties. The White Wolves will be an Asian team in the semifinals. Hungary are not that good, guys. So the semifinals, Czech Republic versus Switzerland. Paraguay versus Uzbekistan. Get a good look at the semifinals. Czech Republic versus Switzerland. I'm going to go with a 3... I'll say just a 1-0 victory for Switzerland here. 1-0 for Switzerland. Shaqiri firing home. Paraguay versus Uzbekistan. I'll go with a 2-0 victory for Paraguay, with both goals coming in extra time after a 0-0 draw after 90 minutes. Third place game between the Czech Republic and Uzbekistan. I have to go with a victory for the Czech Republic here. Just a 1-0 victory for the Czechs. So Uzbekistan will finish in fourth in the Landlocked Nations Cup. Czech Republic will finish in third, the bronze medal. The final of the Landlocked Nations Cup is Switzerland versus Paraguay. Pretty reasonable, right? Europe versus South America. Switzerland versus Paraguay. And this game will go to penalties, I think. 0-0 draw. And Switzerland will win on penalties over Paraguay. So Paraguay will finish in second. Yes, Switzerland. Switzerland wins the Landlocked Nations Cup in Kazakhstan. Switzerland in first, Paraguay in second, Czech Republic in third, Uzbekistan in fourth. Please leave a comment below, like, subscribe. Hopefully I'll see you soon, God willing. Until then, have a good one, much love, and as always, peace out.